Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome back. Have a great, I hope you had a great weekend. I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm coughing much less, but so let's get right to it, I guess. What do we call this? Black Pill Monday? It's kind of a told you so Monday, too, in a sense, but hey, we can wrap it all in one. There's no official schedule for each of these days. Let's get right to start with some stupidity. I guess these are the people running everything right here. I'm not going to do it justice by just reading it. Let me play it. Don't worry, it gets darker after this. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Time when Republicans were very careful about and worried about the government, particularly unelected people.
Well, we can't trust the government anymore.
Having access to personal data.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You are the government.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, is that the American people now are saying that we have had our personal information shared and out there in the public.
Elon Musk has access to it.
Yeah, but Elon Musk is part of the administration that is helping us identify where we can find savings and what we can do. And he has gone through the processes to make sure that he has the authority
You're totally
the president has
comfortable with
granted
it.
him. I am today by the work that he's doing by identifying waste, fraud, and abuse. And his information that he has is looking at programs, not focusing on personal data and information.
Not focusing on it, but he has access to it.
We'll be continuing to talk to him about what all he has access to. But this audit needs to happen to make sure that we are going.
You can't trust the government. You are the government. Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. I got more on her here in just a smidgen of a little bit. Here's Once a Future King, President DJT. Again, this was from, he mentioned this over the weekend. Was this Saturday? Yeah. If credit card companies do not lower interest rates to 10% by January 20th, 8 days from now, then they are in violation of the law. Very severe things. They really abuse the public. I'm not the public. I am not going to let that happen, Trump adds. Now, the thing is, everyone is like, yeah, get rid of it. It's usury. Okay. The thing is, got to stick on principle here. He can't do that. Now, that was the part of it. He was recommending that Congress put a bill together. I haven't seen a congressional bill. If any of you guys have seen one, let me know. I will definitely make a correction right here. And the corrections department's right. Yeah, here. Let me know. I will definitely say, hey, I missed that one. I haven't seen a bill go through Congress. So far, he's just saying, I recommend. I tell, I want this to happen. He doesn't have that ability to say, I want this to happen. He is not the elected monarch. So as good as I want that, and the reason why we're even in this is because of centralization, which I'll show you that next. Here's the cap on credit card interest. Trump posted out. Please be informed that we will no longer let the American public be ripped off by credit card companies that are charging interest rates of 20 to 30%. I'm fine. I'm with them. And even more, festered unimpeded during the Sleepy Joe Brandon administration. Of course, he always has to throw Brandon in there. Affordability, effective January 20th, 2026, I, as President of the United States, am calling for a 1-year cap, why just 1 year, on credit card interest rates of 10%. Is he calling or is he putting it in? Is this an EO? What is this? Coincidentally, on the January 20th date, it coincides with the 1-year anniversary of the historic, not very historic, a very successful Trump administration's 1-year plan. 1 year since Stargate came out. Thank you for your attention on this matter. As Brett Pike says, in 1980, Congress gave the banks the ability to bypass state usury laws. Who's a graduate of Stevie University who figured out what that guy just said? State usury laws. And charged an excess amount of interest on debt. Rates had historically been capped in the states at 6 or 10%, depending on the state. That's how it was from 1776 to 1980. And in 1980, they nationalized it. Again, anything they do, if you want to go, hey, I want centralization, I want nationalization. Here's example 48,422B of you don't want centralization of powers. You keep it with the states. When there was at the state level, 6 to 10%. You nationalize the darn thing, it went up to 20 to 30%. I'll go ahead and play my boy Brett right here. That's this little education for the masses. Again, man, I don't want to say told you so, but yeah, told you so.
President Trump just suggested he wants to cap interest rates on credit cards at 10%. And according to Forbes, the average American pays 28% interest on their credit card. But what most people don't realize is it hasn't always been this way. Because before 1980, credit card companies were only permitted to charge 6 to 10% interest because there was something called state usury laws. So these states capped interest rates at 6% and these states at 7 to 10%. But in 1980, Congress passed the Monetary Control Act, which gave control to the banks by allowing them to charge whatever interest rate they wanted. And we've been paying the price ever since.
And this is why we need to teach our kids the control bank.
Hey, I don't know what else. I rest my case. Anybody wants to say we need to centralize more power? Present evidence exhibit A right there. I don't know. Do I need an exhibit B? I mean, I got plenty of other exhibits, C, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, all that. But literally, in the wording, state usury laws. What happened? How that got kicked out for nationalization with the banks. That should be red flag right there. Hey, state rights work. Now, everybody on here that's a Catholic that's against usury should automatically go back and say, all right, I'm in state rights. I'm for the 10th Amendment. I'm for the 9th Amendment. I'm for state rights. Automatic. If there's anybody that's out there saying they're against usury laws and at the same time against the state usury laws, okay, with the federal government doing this, please pass the hookah pipe. I need what you're smoking. Again, state usury laws, 7 to 10%. I hate it when Trump has complained about Pam Bondi repeatedly to aides. Everybody has AIDS. It's a Team America thing. The president has privately criticized his attorney general as weak and ineffective in recent weeks. Apparently, he's going to run the bus over her. He's going to throw her out to the dogs, huh? Once the future king, President DJT, has complained to other aides repeatedly in recent weeks about Attorney General Pam Bondi, describing her as a weak and ineffective enforcer of his agenda administration officials and other people familiar with his complaints said. Now, if he throws her to the bus and she was told by him not talk about the Epstein file, he better get her on some kind of NDA agreement or something that she can't say any of this stuff because she's going to sing like a canary if she gets thrown into the wolves. Yeah, you're going to do that? Hey, no way in God's green earth that he lets her go or trashes her without something go like, yeah, you say something to me and your whole family's dead or something like that. It's going to be a mobster type rule on this. And people have actually talked about that, saying that he's acting like a mobster in this. Who gets bombed first? Mexico, Iran, Cuba, or Minnesota? Well, I lost $5 already because I thought Iran. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't bet. I saw before I went to bed yesterday that all the talk about Iran, because again, on Sundays I try to stay away from the online. I usually don't even turn this thing on, and I saw the talk about it. It looked like they were going to bomb. I was not. I would have been shocked if I woke up and there was news all over the place that we had already bombed Iran. Yeah, I'm shocked it hasn't happened yet. But we got news on that too because they're telling people to get out right now. Federal prosecutors open investigation in the Fed Chair Powell. The investigation, which is to be the center on renovations of the Federal Reserve's headquarters in Washington District criminals, is an escalation of the president's long-running pressure campaign on Jerome H. Powell. I thought I had it, but even Peter Schiff, Scoop Bessent told Trump, Bessent, the former right-hand man of some guy named Soros, George Soros. Anybody heard of that guy? Soros? Yeah, Besant. He was the right-hand man of Besant, of Soros. Oh, he also lives the same lifestyle as Pete Buttigieg, but who cares? He's got a red MAGA hat, so MAGA people are okay with that one. Besant told Trump that investigation of Fed chair creates a mess. So the soldiers under the general are actually upset at the general. The perturbed Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told Once the Future King President DJT late Sunday that the federal investigation into the Fed chair made a mess and could be bad for financial markets. Two sources familiar with the call told Axios. I thought I had, let me see if I can find, excuse me, Peter Schiff, because he mentions about this too, and he's no Trumpian guy, but I'm no fan of Powell, but Greenspan, Bernanke, we always call Bernanke and Yellen were all worse Fed chairs than he is, and whoever Trump appoints to replace him will also be worse. The seeds of high inflation were sown long before Powell got the job. He may have fueled the fire, but he did not start it. What else? There's another one. I guarantee that's in this podcast right here. There was another one he mentioned about. I'm not a fan of Powell, but I agree with him on Trump's motivation. This is part of the reason gold is soaring to new record highs this evening. In truth, Powell and Trump are wrong. Monetary policy is too loose and interest rates are too low. I'll go and play what did he say that Peter Schiff, who doesn't like him too well, actually agrees with him.
Threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike.
And they all sucked.
In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate.
I don't care about what he's going to have to say anymore. I saw something I wanted to check out. I don't know if you saw that at the bottom. Trending, Alberta independence. Let's see what's going on there. That's trending. Albertans brave sub-zero cold for independence petition signatures. Keep it up, Albertans. We have their attention now. Let's make it too big to rig. Albertan independence petitions need 177,000 signatures. Albertans hold my beer. That's people wanting something. Now, if they go, hey, we want independence, and then say, let's join the United States, again, the hookah pipe, come on. Calgary lined up to sign the Alberta independence petition. That's not a trend. That's a movement. Man, I hear you. Any independent movement, yo, my guys, something's up right there. Alberta, Canada is voting to succeed. They need as much publicity as possible. These are true red-blooded good boys. It's happening. Man, I'm loving that. Now, if they stay out, here's a Quebec. It has a second referendum to leave Canada in 95. Canadians pretty much begged Quebec to stay. 30 years later, what's the response now for Alberta independence? Stay Free Alberta event, Calgary. Last night was amazing. Massive turnout. Alberta Independence Movement petition event. Be part of Canada, become its free independent state. I love it. I love it. I want it. I like some more of it. Hey, we got okay. Well, it's not "Oh Canada." What is the Alberta state song? By the way, every state has their own state song. Man, this is fun. Fantastic to see Alberta independence. I got a friend of mine that left Canada. I think he's from Alberta. I got to send this to him. Say, hey, man, why'd you come? You might want to move back. I'm from Toronto. This is the Republic of Alberta. Man, I'll have to retweet that to him. Yeah, that is great. Sorry, I'm getting a little excited. Canada will collapse without Alberta. Well, maybe they'll all break up. You've seen the size of those provinces. They are huge. They need probably break up. But there's the population probably isn't that much. You get up higher, there ain't that many people living up there. But yay, that's fantastic. I would do more like woo, give it, you do it right. 2 claps and Ric Flair, woo. But kids are trying to sleep. Trump says that if for any reason the Supreme Court rules against his tariffs, we're screwed. Good night, everyone. Can we quote you on that? A question in the back. What happens if SCOTUS rules against you? We're screwed. And he's truly, yeah. I mean, he's totally messed up. He's totally screwed. The rule is supposed to come down on what is today? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's supposed to come down Wednesday, the 14th. It got moved. It was supposed to be last week. Now it's got moved to the 14th. Be very interesting. Everyone is betting on the SCOTUS is going to rule against it. And then, as we mentioned before, and that's what Costco's betting on as well. They've already spent all that money on other things. They would have to pay it back. You think about our taxes going up. Woo, we got to pay back how many trillions of dollars, millions of dollars, trillions of dollars? He's going to have to kiss some more Saudi butt to get some more trillions to come in because of the tariffs going back out. It would be a disaster, but you know what? He did it himself. He could have done it in the first place. I'm not rooting for a collapse, and I'm definitely not rooting for them to keep going because they're putting more tariffs on. It's not like they learned their lesson. He's putting more tariffs on today because of the whole Iran thing. Here is 10 minutes of Ryan Christian debunking a bunch of the Minnesota shooting and exposing ICE's track record of shootings. I kind of did that last week as well. Friday is 4 times ICE tried to spin the narrative and failed. Again, all these are in the show notes. If you look underneath the video, you'll see the link right now. If you're on YouTube, definitely Rumble, you can see it too. If you see the link anywhere underneath, or you just go to censusfidelium.com and you'll see the Clown Planet section and this headline, and you'll see it, and just click that. You'll see everything's in chronological order. Mark needs more silver. I think I saw Costco sell silver, but they're limited to 1 ounce bar per. The thing is, again, with the whole gold and silver, you can buy it all you want. Ain't going to do much for you if the currency's down. In a sense of how do you pay for something, say like a butter or something like that, with a little thing with a block of gold or anything like that. You can't. So you better start learning how to either grow something or do something on your own. So your barter system. I got a coffee plant growing, so hopefully coffee. Also get a Yupon holly because you're going to caffeine from Yupon. Berries. You get berries that last for years. Like an elderberry lasts for about 50 years or something like that. Fruit so much you're never going to have enough. You have too much. I'm relearning the gardening stuff to get into more of the fruits and things that would just blossom for it, like cold hardy kiwi. You know, you've heard of those? They can last from under 25 degrees below. And fruits, was it 300 pounds or something like that of fruit? Like little grapes. And people are like, if you like grapes, but hate that you can't, it's tough to grow them, do this. It's pretty much the same idea. And you get 1,000 times more and without the headaches. You're not at all educated about silver and gold. I didn't say I was. But you're tell me when everything's down, when nothing's going, when you can't do anything, and you live in an area where you're not able to move or anything like that. Tell me how you trade a bar of gold if you have it on hand. Because say like everything collapses and you got gold and silver, but it's not with you. How do you? All right, you need to feed your family or anything like that. What do you do with that bar? What do you do in that bar of gold and silver? You know who did great during the Great Depression? People didn't have gold and silver in the flyover country. They had food. They didn't have a bar of gold. They didn't have a bar of silver. And yeah, you can do it, but when are you going to get that? Are you going to like, hey, I need a little thing of coffee. All I got is gold brick, or I got a couple coins. And what does that cost for you? You buy their home from them? I mean, I didn't say I understand the whole thing model in the sense. I'm looking at it as in a bartering system. If everything goes down that crud and prices go skyrocketing, things like that, which, hey, could happen. Hey, they don't have all that oil from Venezuela yet. They want to bomb Iran. Oils go up to the roof still. They don't have it. It takes years for what they just stole for it to become something we can use. And I got a clip on that soon too. So what are you going to do? We just say, here's some silver. What are you going to do with that? Bite it? No, you can't do anything with that. By the way, learn about what grows in your backyard. Weeds right now. Purple dead nettle is starting to grow. Look up what that is. I got a video on that on the Sensus Fidelium gardening channel. Learn about that one. Start harvesting that. Make a tincture out of it right now so that you can have it for the cold and flu season in the spring. All that stuff that's growing right now is made because that's for that the properties in the purple dead nettle. You can eat it like a salad too, by the way. It has nutrients, all that. Dandelion, by the way, and the nettle growing now helps with the problems that comes up in the spring. Everything that grows like goldenrod in the fall helps with the fall part. Dandelion growing for vitamin K and liver health, things like that. Start harvesting that. That's free. How many seeds come out of a dandelion? Yeah, free stuff right there. There's a great channel called Nature's Vault. And it goes into all kinds of things that have been pretty much like banned from big ag because you can't, it doesn't cost anything. It grows all over the place. Things grow all over the place. Like celery. They did a video on celery the other day. Fascinating. The original celery will grow for 50 years. But you don't know about that because you get the celery that grows at the grocery store, or you buy the packet of the seed and you have to do it once a year, annual. No, this thing is every year, no seed, and you just cut it and you can do whatever you want with that thing. Yeah, check out Nature's Vault. That's a cool channel. I've taken a lot of notes in that thing. Even with like blueberries, get service berries. I found out that service berries taste better than blueberries and is half the problems that, blueberries, you have to get the soil right. You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to do this. The pH levels, man. But service berries, they do not care. They'll just grow in fruit 30 times more. So again, there's a lot of stuff that you see at the stores that are way better. I mean, like I said, I got a laundry list. I can't wait, probably never to have it, to have my own place. I'm going to have a food garden that you've never seen before. But yeah, check out Mark. Yeah, look into that fuzzy. It's called cold hardy kiwi. You need a male and a female. A male will populate 6 or 7 female ones. But if you get that, it will grow. If you put it in the ground now, in 3 years, you'll have some fruit. And when I say you'll have some fruit, you're going to have some fruit. You better build a trellis for that bad boy. Oh, by the way, like black raspberries. Apparently black raspberries are 50 times easier to grow than regular raspberries, but you never see those. Anyways, I will take all that over gold and silver because I can at least eat the raspberries. I can eat the lettuce. I can eat the things growing in the ground. Can't eat gold and silver. Here's Secretary Kristi Noem. I told you she was coming back. Drones represent the new frontier of American air superiority, baby. Under once a future king, President DJT, we are entering a new era to defend our air superiority, to protect our borders and the interior of these United States. We're going to spy on you with these drones and maybe kill a few of you. With the creation of the DHS Program Executive Office for Unmanned Aircraft Systems and Counter Unmanned Aircraft Systems, once a future king, President DJT continues his historic legacy in developing American dominance. This will help. We don't need a wall to keep you out like East Berlin. We just have drones. This will help us continue to secure the border and cripple the cartels. Protect our infrastructure and keep Americans safe as they attend festivities and events during a historic year of America's 250th birthday and FIFA 2020. FIFA. And just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, let me bring this up. As always, I love this video because it's terrible. But you don't see any of the cheerleaders or anybody else that are big rah-rah guys talking about this.
Finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. We will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Yep, say that all the time. Hey, what did she just say? Hey, drones are coming in. As he said, land, air, and sea. They're taking care of the air part. White House weighs Iran's nuclear talks offer as Trump leans towards strikes. Vance leading efforts of some aides to pursue the president to engage in negotiations with Tehran. Do you remember when last time they blew everything up? And we talked about it Friday. What they did is they told, and you can look up I did the whenever it happened a couple months ago, we did a video on it. And it talked about how they probably did this. They told Iran they were going to blow up here, we're going to bomb here, go ahead and get your stuff out. And they moved everything because they didn't find anything. They saw holes in the ground. Everyone that talked about it saw holes in the ground. That was it. Nothing. All the experts said nothing got blown up. Nothing got to say. But the media was telling you everything got blown. Trump was saying they could set it back for decades. So, everything was obliterated. His words, it was obliterated. It got set back for decades. So if that was the case, then why are you worried about that 2 months later? Because what we told you so beforehand happened. They moved all their stuff to a different location. We pretended to bomb them. It was all theater. Iran got mad, sent another bomb to a base in was it Kuwait or somewhere else in Iran, a U.S. base outside Iran, blew that up. But they already told them they were going to target that one. It was pretty much just had some spider webs and hurt a couple guinea pigs, and so everyone was online going, oh, war, and the powers that be or powers that shouldn't be are going, yeah, we're told this guy to this guy, we're going to tell them we're going to bomb here. Everything was all controlled, everything was all dictated, everything was all scripted. So again, this should tell you to never trust the mainstream media because they told you, and Trump himself said, everything was obliterated decades. Now apparently they have the ability to have it tomorrow. So what is it? There's Caitlin Johnstone. I oppose the U.S. empire and the Iranian regime. If you say that, no, you support the U.S. empire. If you desire the downfall of the Iranian government in today's present geopolitical reality, then you desire the expansion of U.S. imperial power, right? It doesn't matter how much lip service you pay to opposing the U.S. murder machine. If in practice you are promoting the agendas of the worst warmongers in the D.C. swamp. There is no time. There is at this time no way Tehran can be toppled without the U.S. centralized empire inserting its rapid fingers into whatever power structure would emerge from the wreckage. When you overthrow a government, you leave the power vacuum, and somebody's going to step into it. There is no clear movement, faction, or successor in Iran that is strong enough to secure power against whichever group the empire throws its support behind, besides the government that presently exists. This means the U.S. empire would necessarily have a very prominent seat at the table in whatever system of government might replace the current one. Here is Israel media quote, when the Iranian regime falls, we will strike everywhere in the country, as we did in Syria when Assad left power. And by the way, everyone, even Bishop Barron is out there talking about, hey, good job on all the Iranians opposing. All stuff, just all kabuki theater on things like that. They're not, these guys are actually opposed, they're protesting the opposition part. Iranians from all walks of life take to the streets to denounce foreign-backed riots. As this guy says, watch tens of millions of Iranians across the country protest against Mossad and CIA-backed terrorists and rioters and in support of the Islamic Republic. Look at the footage from different cities and judge for yourself. Tehran's protests begin in less than 2 hours. Here's Senator Lindsey Graham holds no punches and calls President Trump to kill Khamenei. If you don't believe me.
Over the Ayatollah. Donald Trump says the best way to make Iran great again is for the protesters to win and the regime to come down. How do you do that? Whatever action we're going to take, Mr. President, needs to embolden the protesters and scare the hell out of the regime. If I were you, Mr. President, I would kill the leadership that are killing the people. You got to end this. If it ends well, then peace breaks out. All the state sponsor of terrorism activity stops. Hezbollah, Hamas, they go away. Israel and Saudi make peace, a new day in the Mideast. If the Ayatollah hangs on, it's a giant Obama step backward. I have faith in you, Mr. President. I have trust in you. You are the Ronald Reagan plus of our time.
I ask for your forgiveness for just fleeing, Lindsey Graham. He hasn't met a bomb. He hasn't wanted to blow off on them. Here's Reza Pavlov on the same Fox News program. To put into perspective, in the last 48 hours, Iranians have suffered more casualties than America did after the 9/11 attacks. Right. This is a moment as defining. This is an opportunity to liberate that nation. Remember, these guys are making up stuff just to get a war going. Iran was able to successfully black out Starlink using military jammers. Starlink has become first tool deployed wherever U.S. backs regime change. Bangladesh, Venezuela, Syria, now Iran. This time, it seems the counter tech may have come from Russia. Kill switch. Iran shuts down Starlink internet for first time. Here's J.K. Rowling posting, if you claim to support human rights, yet can't bring yourself to show solidarity with those fighting for their liberty in Iran, you've revealed yourself. You don't give a darn about people who are being oppressed and brutalized so long as it's being done by the enemies of your enemies. As Glenn Greenwald says, this photo that Western regime change enthusiasts are trying to turn into an iconic image is a woman in Canada, not Iran. But who cares if war propaganda is accurate? Why are Saudi, Egyptian, and Emirate women never showing face their brutal repression from US, UK funded regimes? Here, Schiff talking about Trump saying the other day on a question about what's his limit. Trump said the only limit to his power is his own morality. Fortunately, the founding fathers did not rely on morality to limit presidential power, as morals can easily be corrupted by power, which is, you see that in real time. Trump's authority is limited by the U.S. Constitution. Someone needs to tell him that. They tried, and he's pretty much told him to go pound sand. Here's Iran leaders' call yesterday to negotiate, but we may strike anyway, Trump says. And it's kind of like Venezuela Part 2. They had meetings with Maduro. Maduro was pretty much like, hey, you can take the oil. Come on, just go. No, that wasn't good enough. So Part D, the sequel's coming up real quick. Faster than Hollywood sequels. Massive gatherings across Iran today as Iranians rally in support of their country. Not what you're hearing from Fox News and others. Here's the 10th Amendment Center after retweeting Pete Hegseth, who posted up Trump's Truth Social. Iran is looking at freedom, perhaps like never before. The U.S. stands ready to help. At the Amendment Center, it's absolutely and totally illegal under the Constitution for the President of these United States to pledge support for any side of a foreign conflict without approval from Congress. Quote, if the legislator have a right to make war on the one hand, it is on the other the duty of the executive to preserve peace till war is declared. Alexander Hamilton. And nobody ever quotes Hamilton because he was the biggest big government guy they ever had. Why? Because he wasn't from the 13 original. He had no home really. So, like Washington, Jefferson looked at themselves as Virginians. John C. Calhoun looked at himself as a South Carolinian. Hamilton was technically was said, in here was from, used New York, but he was not born in New York. He was not a New Yorker. There was other guys that, yeah, I'm a New Yorker. He was that was like his adopted section. But even to quote Hamilton, none of those guys were for what you see today. Trump asked Halliburton executive why they left Venezuela. They were forced out in 2019 by Trump's sanctions. I'll play it so they no.
I know that this couldn't express gratitude more so for the opportunity to return to Venezuela under the stability that I know that this team and your team are able to deliver. And so
When did you leave?
Huh?
When did you leave Venezuela?
As a company, we left under the sanctions in 2019. So we had intended to stay, and then when the sanctions went into place, we were required to leave. But very much interested. Couldn't express.
Why did you leave? We left in 2019 because of your sanctions. Wait a minute. I thought they said that Venezuela stole all that you got kicked them off. Oh, no, they left because of Trump. You can't make this stuff up. There's the people who did this to Gaza are deeply concerned that Iran might have broken international humanitarian law. That is great. Megatron. Israel media has begun to admit that Mossad is behind the protests in Iran. Mossad spurs the protests in Iran, the Jerusalem Post says. Have you seen the 60 Minutes clip on the Mossad when they interviewed a guy from Mossad? I can't play it on here because they'll take down the video. Look up, go on X or something, type in 60 Minutes Mossad interview. Maybe it's on maybe YouTube. Under 60 minutes, they might be able to pull it off. Check that interview out because they interviewed a guy. He's shadowed out, and he talks about how they were. He goes, "We are we run the script. We put the production stage up. We control the narrative. We do this everywhere." Right when you watch that, you'll see this going. Yep, I can believe that now. Here's since there's so much love and affection right now for how the Shah and his rule and his pointless son, here was the Shah on 60 Minutes telling Mike Wallace about Israel's extreme influence in the United States and its politics. By the way, Wallace was a lifelong Zionist and himself Jewish. It was despite that the Shah's government had a very close relationship with Israel to the point that Israel would simply ignore and overlook the fact that the Shah's regime routinely slaughtered protesters and brutally imprisoned and tortured dissidents. This is from Israel's 972 mag back in 2019. The interview was 1976. I'd play it, but you trust me. If you play CBS or 60 Minutes, every time I've done that, I've gone, that can't play it. Lindsey Graham, Mr. President, your decisive leadership in isolating this regime economically through your actions today are most impressive. Your promise to have the protesters back and put in regime on notice that you would not tolerate the killing has led to the largest outpouring of demonstrators against your financial regime since its founding. Mr. President, I believe the Iranian regime has crossed red lines. They are killing their people in large numbers and mocking your leadership. I mock your leadership. Anyway, here's Trump. Effective immediately, any country doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran will pay a tariff of 25% on any and all business being done with the United States of America. This order is final and conclusive. When the funny heck did he, how could he do? Decensored news. On one side, Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change that's pathologically insane. This sounds like Hillary Rodham Clinton in Libya. Charlie Kirk, less than 3 months before his assassination. Kirk. Graham is consistently out of his mind and it's hard even to comprehend. Iran is hugely diverse. It's a massive country. Do the people agitating war even know that? Because let's be clear, regime change is war. You're talking about a country 2.5 times the size of Texas that has 90 million people and was an ancient and great power for well over a dozen ethnic groups. Who's going to run the country exactly, Lindsey? This sounds like Hillary Clinton in Libya. He went on to contrast the neocons with the other extreme. He doesn't like Ron Paul. I love Ron Paul, but Ron Paul is awesome. I would have Ron Paul on my show regularly. He's a hero. I actually agree with him. I actually agree with this other extreme a lot. I honestly don't think neoconservative extreme needs to be representative. Anyway, and remember, he was not a fan of Iran. To be clear, Kirk wasn't a non-interventionist, including on Iran. He was a middle of the road type deal. This came out a couple hours ago. Yeah. Leave Iran now. U.S. virtual embassy Tehran. Here's John Merschmeyer. Israel is pushing the U.S. toward war with Iran to divert global attention so that they can easily carry out the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. Not too shocked. Trump reposts suggestion that Rubio become next Cuba leader. Could they call him Cuban Pete? President Trump reposted a social media message on Sunday suggesting that U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, born to Cuban immigrant parents, will become the next leader of Cuba. How in the world? Cliff Smith on January 8th that read, Marco Rubio will be president of Cuba. Sounds good to me, Trump commented on his repost. The largely unknown user whose bio refers him to a conservative Californian has less than 500 followers on X. Would not be shocking. Here's what happened. Trump posts that he's acting president of Venezuela. RT fixed it for you. Acting president of the United States, Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump administration says U.S. taxpayers will pay $83 billion to build Venezuela's oil infrastructure that will benefit oil companies. Estimated total cost $183 billion. Oil company investments $100 billion. Taxpayer costs $83 billion. Oil companies are currently Oil companies are currently resistant to paying, so taxpayer portion may be more. Yay! So you get to pay for it, and you still get to pay for the oil. They get 100% of the profits. In case you forgot the ever-changing excuses, this is great. It's about gangs. Actually, it's the fentanyl. Actually, it's cocaine. Actually, they stole your oil. You're going to pay for the oil. When TurboTax asked if you have any dependents. Here's Edward Fesser. Reminder for Catholics who falsely claim that the church and the Catholic theology traditionally regarded seizure of another country's territory as a just cause for war. This is from the eminent scholastic theologian Francisco de Victoria on the Law of War, 1539. Second, enlargement of empire cannot be the cause of a just war. This proposition is too well known to require further proof. Fourth, the sole and only just cause for waging war is when harm has been inflicted. This is first provided by the authority of Augustine, the usual definition of just wars. It is also the conclusion of St. Thomas and all the doctors. And by the way, none of that had happened. So again, violation of just war theory. Here's Iran now claims it could develop a nuclear bomb in just 24 hours. Tehran warns that any Western attack on its nuclear sites would come with severe consequences. I don't doubt that. Back to the States here, and if you want an iPhone here. Did you not just learn ICE agents threatening a Minnesota churchgoer with Renee Good lesson? And here, I guess it must be a different one. Oh, wow. That guy, I don't have the volume on it. Hopefully, you didn't hear that through the microphone. He said a wordy dirt, obviously. There's actually a bill going through right now to try to get these guys from being masked and to provide a warrant when they approach somebody to arrest them or at least do anything. Right now, they're just doing whatever they want to do. So he tells them, what did you just now learn? So this is the second guy. He's got, by the way, did you notice that he's wearing a Minnesota Timberwolves hat? Okay, these are supposed to be ICE agents on the on the clock, and the dude is wearing a Minnesota Timberwolves hat. Very professional, right? It's sideways, not even straight. That's kind of like you walk outside, you see the kids doing. Here's this guy, another ICE agent in Minnesota, to a woman recording him, quote, "Have you not learned from the past couple of days?" Then he knocked the phone out of her hand. Here's hours after ICE murdered Renee Good, Border Patrol swarmed an Uber driver demanding ID. He said, "What do you mean I'm not the Uber driver?" That's what UD means. "What do you mean if I'm from this country?" Border Patrol, "You don't have the same accent as me." Uber driver, "You're going by accent now." Border Patrol, "Where are you born?" Uber driver, you guys need psychiatric checkups. World War III fears grow as Russia threatens NATO and vows to help Trump free Greenland. I didn't know. Now, Russia's going to help take over Greenland with Trump, huh? Here's Trump was saying about that. "We will take Greenland." Trump, as Levitt nods. By the way, there is no authority for him to take Greenland. U.S. President Trump on Greenland. "The fact that they landed a boat there 500 years ago doesn't mean they own the land." Could you imagine anybody saying that about anywhere here and get away with it? Trump has ordered U.S. Special Operations commanders to prepare plans for a potential invasion of Greenland, according to the Mail on Sunday. The report says senior military officials are pushing back against the idea. Sources cited by the newspaper claim that foreign policy headliners around Trump, led by advisor Stephen Miller, crazy guy, had been emboldened by the successful operation to kidnap Maduro. They are also pressing to move forward quickly on Greenland, fearing Russia or China could act first. British diplomats asked us that Trump is also driven by domestic political calculations, seeking a foreign policy escalation to divert attention from weak economic performance ahead of the midterms, where Republicans risk losing control of Congress. And remember, all this stuff that they say that they can do, oh, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. Guess who runs all three branches of government right now? Or not, well, not all three, but Congress, the House, and the presidency. GOP. And they're not doing what who voted? Pound, I voted for taking over Greenland. Did you vote for any of these regime changes? I voted for more war with Iran. What the world is going on? This is a great story, I thought. Man convicted for carrying Pelosi's podium during the Capitol riot seeks Florida county office. I love it. Hope you vote for him. I don't know where he stands. I just think that was one of the iconic, greatest photos in the history of photos. Adam Johnson was previously sentenced to 75 days in prison after he was photographed carrying Pelosi's lectern during the January 6th attack. I love how they say attack, and he's smiling, posing for a camera. You see, Adam Johnson filed to run as a Republican for an at-large seat on the Manatee County Commissions on Tuesday. That was the 5th anniversary of the January 6th, where his photograph smiling and waving as he carried Pelosi's podium. Johnson told WWSB-TV that it was not a coincidence that he filed for office on January 6th, saying, "It's definitely good to get the buzz out there. I hope he uses that photo for his, like, the his advertising and marketing. You can't have it better. Not off social media and make a living out of. I guess Ringer is talking to me. I guess. Who's the grifter? Is it me? Guy. Yeah. Okay. You grifted. I don't know. I'm in a rental. Grift. I guess I need to grift better if I'm the grifter. I guess. I don't know. Apparently, reading the news is now grifting. How IVF has led to the record number of single moms in their 40s. Larry Terry dreamed of having kids, a family she could call her own, but there was one challenge. She wasn't interested in dating, marriage, or partnering up. So she came up with the idea for an unusual parent to give herself, like, let's get a dog. No, let's get a kid. For my 39th birthday, I bought a vial of donor sperm. You see a lot of TV shows doing this stuff too. In sports, it was the craziest NFL playoff weekend ever, and these numbers prove it. This was the year when the wild card round lived up to its name, with a number of fourth quarter lead changes and more late game mayhem than any postseason we ever had. I think three of the 4 games ended with whoever was winning at the 2-minute mark lost the game. I was watching the Panther game. That was a fun game. So I'm with that. It was a great weekend. I didn't see the other games. I just know the other scores. But yeah, it's the first time I sat there and watched a Panther game in 8 years, because it's been so bad after they got rid of Richardson. But appreciate we did. Hey, Matthew, thank you, man. Appreciate it. So there's always somebody. There's always going to be somebody to come on here and do something. It's cool. Hey, at least they like it. They like it enough to try to talk smack. Sorry, hey man, don't worry about being frustrated, man. You're good. You don't have to type it out. Have some discipline. I just used to tune in and see sermons that were relevant. Now it's a political entertainment news breakdown. Hey, guess what? Let me tell you something. I don't know if this is going to be a shock to you. There's 13,000 sermon videos on the channel right now. You're upset of one video. One. And I've been doing this for years. And before that, I was doing rundown for years. For a year. We did it in 2020. And then I started News from the Pew after I left rundown. And before that, I did shows on my own. So I've been doing this for about 6 or 7 years. Yeah, something like that. If you look up, you look on the playlist. You'll see playlist rundown, Clown Planet, News from the Pew. You'll scroll back. You'll get back in the 2019-ish. Okay, there's 13,000 some odd videos up there. I post 15 a week. I unlock at least 12 to 15. No, I take that back. I'll lie. 2 a week, 2 Saint of the Weeks every day, 2 Saint of the Days every day. So times that by 7, 14. And then at least 1 per day. So at least 20 to 25 videos a week. And I'll probably crank this down to about 2 times a week. So chill out, dude. Okay, man. Come on. You're good. Just relax, dude. Hey, and the only reason I do this, I promise you, this is why I do. I don't want to do something like this. I'd rather be out there reading a book, sitting there with my wife, not doing this. But there ain't nobody else out there bringing this stuff up. And that's why I started doing it at first. My wife actually told me, wait, don't worry about other people doing it. You do it. It was actually a Father Mike Smith video on fear, because I didn't want to hit the record button the first time I did it. I remember the first day I did it. And I watched and I listened to him talk about fear, about not wanting to do something because you care about what other people say. And I was like, all right, good to go. Let's go. That's cool. All right, leave. Take care. Have a good one. You'll come back. But anyway, so I wanted to get information out there for other people, especially the priests, to see what's going on, because you're not seeing those on mainstream. They don't have the time to watch alternative media. You guys aren't watching alternative media. You guys are mostly watching the stuff that other people watch too. How many people have seen I bring up the stuff about flock and ice, all that stuff, COVID back in the day, all this other stuff. Hey, we were ahead of the program 2 months before other people start talking about what's going on right now. So, hey, this is all about trying to get people information. You don't like it? Go to the next video. It ain't gonna bother me. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings. You don't like it. Here's this was cooler than anything because again, we're in sports. If you don't like me talking about the sports from local my area, all right, keep pounding away. Anyway, you can hear them. I know I can hear it. That's across the John Belk, which is at least a quarter mile. The video is being taken about a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile away from the stadium. And you can hear the people just jacked inside. It was a cool day. Let's see, share screen again. And these are they ended up bringing before the fourth quarter. They brought out three players from 2003 and one from 1996 era. And again, place I wish I would have gone. I didn't. The tickets probably were unphenomenal high, but the place was going berserk. It was one of those games we lost, and people. I listened to a call-in show this morning, and people were going, "You know what? This was the greatest loss in the history of losses." And everyone was like that. They were jacked after. I was actually smiling afterwards. I never left to watch the game and saw a loss and going, "You know what? That was great. It was fun." And to know that these guys don't stink anymore was even better. Anyway, and here's if you're catching up with the NCAA's, which the Indiana's going to win it all. The Indiana QB won the Heisman's a Catholic dude. This guy gets into why they're winning. It's pretty much because they're all old. And there's no player on the team that's under 21. Indiana's team is about as old as the Green Bay Packers. So it helps. This day in history, the music label that changed American music, 1959, Berry Gordy took a major step towards transforming American music on this day in 1959 when he launched Tamara Records with Smokey Robinson and the Miracles that signed his first act. 2010, a 7.0 earthquake devastated Haiti, killing more than 300,000. 2005, U.S. space probe Deep Impact was launched. 1971, groundbreaking, probably was baking, television series All in the Family debuted on CBS. 1969, quarterback Joe Namath having guaranteed victory led the New York Football Jets in a win Super Bowl III. 1966, live-action TV series Batman premiered on ABC. 1960, British government formally ended a state of emergency it had declared with Kenya in response to the beginning of the Mau Mau rebellion. 1932, Haiti Ophelia Caraway became the first woman elected to the U.S. Senate. 1916, P.W. Botha, Prime Minister and President of South Africa, was born. 1879, the Anglo-Zulu War. There was a movie on that. I think what's it called? Zulu? I remember we watched it in high school. Began this week, and the British sought control over the Zululand. Let's see, there was a class I took in high school called it was a history of war history, something like that. It was a fun class. Novelist, 1876, novelist Jack London, author of The Call of the Wild and White Fang, was born. 1773, the oldest public museum in the United States was established in colonial Charleston, South Kakalaki. Its original purpose was to promote the better understanding of agriculture and herbal medicine in the area. Go figure. And now we're trying, 200 years later, we're trying to figure out all of that again. Was it Zulu Dawn? That might be it. I can't remember. I just remember the chants that were on the zoos and thing like that. Having a child, never forget it. I now have 1-year-old and she's teaching me everything. Hey, dude, you're cool, man. Again, don't worry about it. And again, another way of this is I could black pill the what I have everyone on here, but we're Catholic, so we got hope. I should turn those from a nomen and domen. We fetch a chair in there, and don't get down on things. This is to show you that it's pretty bad out there. It's worse than what you're hearing, but don't get so bad on there. And I hope this also makes you pray a little bit better. Get your prayer life round up. Hey, this is going to get nasty. hey, this could potentially get really nasty. Better be in it. Better go to confession. Better get your grace. Better get all prayed up. Better get focused. Get your mind right at mass. Get your mind right at liturgy. Get your mind right for every moment of every day, so you to be a saint in case something goes down. Hey, and to prepare. Right? I bring up the stuff about what's going on with the technocratic state. And again, someone mentioned about gold and silver earlier today. A lot of people hear that because you watch gold and silver on all these other channels, all these the grifting channels. Apparently, I need to get some grifting from the gold and silver guys. I don't have any. I love how I got called a grifter on that. I do have a couple books on the Census Medallion Press and the Census Medallion TV app. Can I grift those? Anyways, so you see what it's kind of like the weatherman. They're going to show you, hey, it's going to rain on Thursday. Okay, they're not grifting. They're just telling you it's going to be bad. Be prepared. What's going on with down the road? Get prepared. Start learning all these trades that we didn't know before. Maybe learn how to sew. Maybe learn how to plant potatoes. Definitely learn. By the way, there's a natural potato that you put in the ground, it'll grow all over the place. It tastes like candy, apparently. Again, found that on Nature's Attic. Dandelion. How can you what is it? Duckweed. Duckweed will clear out a garbage pond that you could pretty much probably drink the water afterwards. But at least you could eat the duckweed. And even if the water is poisonous, you could scoop that duckweed, and it's got protein, high vitamin K, C, calcium, vitamin C, all that stuff in there. You can just eat it, throw it on a salad. Did you know about that? I saw that again. I'm B12 out of that thing. There's so much that you can learn from it that you don't have to be in fear. You don't have to live and worried about what could happen. You are prepared. Now, if they nuke you on top and you're in a state of grace, who cares? As long as you're in a state of grace, good for you. But now this is trying to get you, hey, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. Start getting stuff ready. Like I said, I got apple trees right here growing. I got some plants right here growing. I got strawberries over there growing. I'm looking up ways I can make it easier on myself and others to teach others how to do it. And just stay positive, all right? Don't worry, it could get worse. It will get much worse. Anyway, God love you. Have a great rest of the day. I'm going to get out of here. I'm probably not going to do something tomorrow. So I'll be here for Hump Day Wednesday. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense, all that jazz. Comment, tell me I suck. I don't care. Put it down at the bottom. If not, have a great one. I love you anyways. Even if hater, what did religious hippie have? Haters will get prayed for. There you go. Have a great rest of the night. God love you. Talk to you later.